there's another key clue here, another key connection. And that is a fellow named in that intercept from Victoria Nuland, Sullivan. Sullivan. I'm ashamed that he's an Irishman. Now, Jake is his first name, and he's tied in with Russiagate as well as with Ukraine. Let me explain. Well, first I should say, my wife always says, Ray, for God's sake, don't forget to tell him what you think of Donald Trump. Okay, so here goes, folks. I think he's the very worst president we ever had, and I hold no brief for anything he did or says. What I do is analysis, and I look at the facts, and there are one or two cases out of 3,000 where he and I come at the facts in the same way. And one of those is Russiagate. It's about the most important subversive activity I have ever seen in our government. It was before Trump was elected. It was subversive in the extreme. The subversion being done by our security agencies in the person of John Brennan, what's his name, the FBI director, the NSA director, and people in DOJ. So what happened? Well, I'll try to be brief here because this is what happened. In the middle of June, Julian Assange of WikiLeaks made an announcement. This is June 2016. He said, we have Hillary Clinton emails. We have emails related to Hillary Clinton that we were going to publish right soon. Whoa. The next day, the Washington Post had a little column saying, oh, this is probably a Russian operation. But what happened was there was a convention coming up. I think it was on the 25th or so of July. Now this was the 15th of June. Wow, that's not a lot of how. Oh, here's Hillary's Council of War. My God. What has Julian Assange got? Oh, God. If he's got DNC emails, and we have some reason to believe someone leaked emails from the DNC, they'll show the whole world that we stacked the deck against Bernie Sanders, where he didn't have a chance of an ice cube in hell, okay? This is bad. My God. And the convention is just coming up. And Julian Assange has said he's gonna publish them soon. Oh God, what are we gonna do? So there's a council of war on the table, and anybody got any ideas? Yes, Jake. Let's blame it on Russia. Jake Sullivan, are you out of your head? Russia had nothing to do with this. That doesn't matter. We hate the Russians. We hate Julian Assange. We can make that stick because the media will buy it. Blame it on Russia. So Hillary looks around the table and says, anybody got any better ideas? Okay, we'll go with it. And they did. Now, the only thing I wasn't a fly on the wall there, but that I'm pretty convinced is how it went down. Whether it was Jake Sullivan or not, I just suspect it was some other inventive, imaginative staffer. And of course, Sullivan was running the campaign. So he would have had to agree anyway. So fast forward to the convention. 3 days before the convention, the emails came out and they showed, as Hillary feared, that she swiped the nomination from Bernie Sanders, pure and simple, by by what they did with the primaries and everything else. It was very, very clear, okay? So the question was, how could they make this stick? Well, we have Hillary's PR manager, Jennifer Palmieri. She attests in the Washington Post to how she went around to all the TV outlets at the convention and tried to sell this story. And, they weren't really interested. And it was a hard sell. But then when we got back to Brooklyn, says Jennifer Palmieri, Brooklyn being Hillary's headquarters, then intelligence people started to come by, and then journalists connected with intelligence people. And then that week we had confirmation, no, it was the Russians. And then the administration tended to confirm that it was the Russians. Now, the first thing, of course, was the charge that the Russians had hacked the DNC and given those emails to Julian Assange. Now, what do we know really happened? We know, number one, that the FBI never investigated that, never took charge of the computer systems of the DNC. What happened? They deferred to a crowd called CrowdStrike, who was led by an old FBI employee, said that this was a very solid firm and they could depend on that. And on December 5th, 2017, the head of CrowdStrike testified under oath, "We have no technical information to confirm that the Russians or anyone else hacked those particular emails." Oh, wait a second. December 5th, 2017? Who buried that? Adam Schiff, the head of the committee before whom this fellow appeared. Sean Henry is his name. Wow. How long was Schiff able to keep that secret? Oh, from December 5th until May 7th, 2000. Oh, that's pretty good. What happened on May 7th, 2000? He was forced to declassify Sean Henry's testimony because the head of intelligence said, look, if you don't do it, we're going to do it. And so Adam Schiff did it. And of course, you read that in the New York Times, right? No. The New York Times has not published the fact that this top-rate cyber agency has said there's no evidence of a Russian hack. They had that information, as I said, on May 7th, 2000. Now it's what, February 23rd, 2002. So we're almost 2 years where I guess the New York Times is competing with Adam Schiff to see if they can keep it under wraps for that much longer. Suffice it to say that the whole thing fell apart then. What damage was done? Well, scads of Russian diplomats thrown out of their embassies. The Russians accused of all these things, sanctions imposed. I mean, if you wanted to make the Russians justifiably angry, you couldn't have done any better than this. The point is that this has an effect now on how Americans look at Russians. They haven't read the Times article on Sean Henry's testimony because the Times didn't write an article on Sean Henry's testimony. Okay, so they have no way of knowing. So what we're ended up with here is an uninformed citizenry. And I just say that, remind people that when Eisenhower warned about the Mickey Mat, actually, he warned about the MIC, right? The military industrial complex. Now it's grown like Topsy. But when he warned about the MIC, he said the only way to prevent the MIC, the military industrial complex, from accretion of power, unrestrained power that damages democracy, is an informed citizenry. We don't have an informed citizenry, And that's all very deliberate. Now, with respect to Andrew Sullivan, it's come out now that some of the well-heeled lawyers working for Hillary Clinton have been caught lying to the FBI and other people having to do with how they explain that they weren't working for Hillary Clinton when they gave the FBI rumors that, for example, Trump was in touch with Russian banks and all this kind of thing. The irony, of course, is that none of this helped Hillary Clinton win the election, but it was very, very subversive of the regular order, so to speak, in our democracy. So what about Sullivan? Well, he was right in the middle of this. And the special prosecutor has the book on Sullivan. So the worst case here is that when Sullivan's making a mockery of U.S. foreign policy making, when he's telling the president to say, no, the Russians are coming on Wednesday. It's Wednesday too. We missed another Wednesday. Okay. Or they're coming in just a couple of days, or they're going to bomb the hell out of Kiev, the capital, with 2.5 million people. I mean, so Sullivan has an extra incentive. I mean, you can call it wag the dog or whatever you want to call it, but it's not beyond a fellow like Jake Sullivan to put his own personal jeopardy in the mix here and say, wow, if we keep stoking this tension, maybe we can keep deflecting attention from what the judiciary is about to do if they have the guts. That's, of course, the big question. Does Merrick Garland have the guts to pursue the people working directly under Hillary Clinton who had to know about this perjury, had to know about these hoaxes, worse than hoaxes, actually. And does he go after Hillary Clinton herself? I don't know. I would be surprised if that actually happens. But the point is, I mean, both political parties, my friends, are corrupt to the nth degree. And I just wish there were a way to make sure that we didn't have to vote for the lesser evil each time around. Maybe you young people are smart enough to figure out how to avoid having to do that.